All right, good morning, everybody. I call to order the DuPage County Public Works Committee for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Time is now 9 a.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Chair Garcia,
Here.
Vice Chair Ozog,
Here.
Member Cahill, Member Desart,
Here.
Member Galassi, Member Zay.
Here. We have quorum, correct? We do. Okay, good. Okay. I have no chairwoman's remarks today. Is there any public comment for today?
No.
No. Okay. Moving on, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes 24-0756 Public Works Committee meetings. Committee minutes, regular meeting Tuesday, February 2024. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on these? Please show that Member Galassi is now in attendance. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to claims reports, looking for a motion to approve 24-0799 payment of claims for public works and facilities management. Got a motion?
Second.
Second.
I almost second, but I'm not on.
I know you're not a committee. Motion to seconds. Is there any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to consent items, moving on to motion for, looking for a motion to approve
So moved.
24-0800 J. Congdon Sewer Service Inc. contract is being extended to April 30th, 2024 to pay the final invoice with no change in the contract total. Got a motion to second, and this is for the Timber Lakes water main.
Talk about this one?
Yes.
A little bit. Consent items are usually not very interesting, but this one we're pretty proud of. This is one where the state gave us funding and through a grant, and we extended Lake Michigan water down to the Timber Lakes area for the residents down there. No cost to us. It's a great project. The residents benefited tremendously, and now they have Lake Michigan water for the rest of their lives down there. So how many, Sean, how many homes were down there?
Ask.
35 homes. 35 homes. So it's a great project.
How did that all come about?
That was, that came through Senator Curran.
Okay.
He helped secure the funding, and then we worked through Decchio to do it. And what you're seeing here is Decchio had some final closeout requirements that J. Congdon had to meet. Once they met them, we were able to pay the final invoice. So it's a great project all around.
So I had a question about this. And it might be semantics, just the way this is worded, but it says, so we're approving to pay the final invoice. Why would we?
We could not.
Why is this on?
So we could not pay the final invoice because we needed one more item to satisfy the Decchio grant requirements. It took J. Congdon about 6 months to get that requirement in. And by the time that they were able to get it in, the contract was expired. So now we have to extend the contract to pay the final invoice. I mean, we knew all along we owed them the money, but we could not give it to them until they gave us the final piece of paper we needed, the Decchio grant.
Gotcha, thank you.
And the money is coming from the grant that we received.
Oh, yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah.
Right, okay. All right, thank you. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great work, everybody. Moving on to bid award, looking for a motion to approve 24-0801 recommendation
Second.
for the approval of the contract to Census Corporation number 2 to supply uniforms for public work employees for the period of March 13th, 2024 to March 12th, 2025 for a total contract amount not to exceed $22,000. Please note that Member Cahill has now arrived. We have a motion, to second? Seconds. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking for motion to approve FMP 001024 recommendation for the approval of contract to Census Corporation number 2 to provide and deliver employee uniforms as needed for facilities management for the period of March 13th, 2024 through March 12th, 2025 for a total contract amount not to exceed $50,000. We've got a motion?
So moved. Second.
You be second.
Second. Sorry.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion on this?
Yeah,
No?
right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to F, looking for a motion to approve FMP 0011
So moved.
24 recommendation for the approval of
Second.
contract to Hay and Associates Inc. for natural areas management, which includes controlled burning and weeding of the native gardens of the county campus for facilities management for the period of March 12th, 2024 through March 11th, 2025 for a total contract amount not to exceed $36,500. We've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this?
I will say on 8C and 8D, I'd like to thank Stormwater and their staff. They're providing a lot of assistance to us for these contracts. So I'd like to say thank you.
Yes, thank you, Stormwater, and thank you for doing this because we know that they go crazy if we don't, so thank you for that. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to, looking for a motion to approve 24-0802, recommendation for the approval of contract to Steve Piper and Sons, Inc. for pruning and trimming of select trees in designated areas on the county campus for facilities management for the period of March 6th, 2024 through March 5th, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $20,645.70. Got a motion?
So moved.
The second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I give a motion to approve DTP 001524, recommendation for the approval of contract purchase order to A1 Warren Oil Company, Inc. to furnish and deliver gasoline and diesel fuel as needed for the Division of Transportation and Public Works for the period of April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $1,750,000. For the Division of Transportation, $1 million, and Public Works, $750,000. And a motion to second. Is there any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve FMP 001224, recommendation for the approval of a contract to A&P Grease Trappers, Inc. for sanitary grease trap and storm basin pumping, jetting, and cleaning as needed for the county campus for facilities management for the period of April 14th, 2024 through April 13th, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $82,750 per renewal option under bid award 21017 FM. It's the third and final option to renew. We have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I forgot to say, any discussion? No, okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
I could know that this is one of our most glamorous contracts.
It is grease trapping. It is very glamorous. You are correct. Thank you for pointing that out, Vice Chair. Looking for a motion to approve PWP 000624. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to Sheffield Safety and Loss Control LLC for safety
moved.
program manager services for the period of April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $100,000. Just a little thing on this. This is helping us to be proactive. It helps educate and train the staff in the safety. There is mandatory attendance required for this, so it's a good thing for us to keep everyone safe here on the county. So we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, motion to approve PWCO 000224 amendment to county contract 6571-0001 serve issued to Fox Valley Fire and Safety Company to repair the fire alarm system and notifier panel at the Woodridge Green Valley wastewater treatment plant for Public Works for a change order to increase the contract amount of $20,000, resulting in an amended contract amount not to exceed $93,250, an increase of 27.30%. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second, any discussion?
Could you
Numbers, sorry.
explain, please, why it's gone up 27%?
Fox Valley, that's actually for our Woodridge facility. So we did an inspection down at our Woodridge plant and our panels are over 35 years old and we're having trouble finding parts. So the decision was made to replace all of the panels down there. And so it's more of a safety issue than anything. So it wasn't anticipated until we got the inspection. And so something like that, we don't want to wait. And so we have the money with a change order and we want to replace all the panels.
Questions? Any other questions on this? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Move on to sole source. Looking for a motion to approve PWP 000724, recommendation for the approval of contract to Alpha Laval Inc. to provide
So moved.
repair parts for the Ashbrook gravity belt thickeners and belt presses at the Woodridge Green Valley wastewater treatment plant and Knollwood wastewater treatment plant for Public Works for the period of May 1st, 2024 to April 28th, 2028, for a total contract amount not to exceed $80,000. We've got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve 24-0803, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Harris Govern for annual software maintenance and
So
support
moved.
services as needed for the period of April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025 for building and zoning, which will be 10,702.
Second.
Division of Transportation, 6,421, and Public Works, 2,140, for a contract total not to exceed $19,263. We got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve PWR 00224, declaration of the Highland Hills Sanitary District property as surplus real estate. Do a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Seconds, and are you gonna give some
I can give a little
information?
bit of a-
Okay, I've got some
Not
notes.
enough
Go ahead.
coffee today.
So for those, if you can go back to about 2015 to 2017, when we took over the Highland Hills Sanitary District and unincorporated Lombard. Successful project. If you recall, it was a very, very small operation, on the verge of bankruptcy. We took over the systems out there. We are now owning and operating, and we've stabilized the rates. We've definitely done repairs. It is in a very good shape. This is one of the holdover properties out there. It's the old well house that was part of it. We do not need it because we are on Lake Michigan water. We have actually a interested party that wants to purchase it, which it's kind of a liability for us to even own it because we don't do anything. We just have to carry it and maintain it. So our process is, first, we have to declare it surplus property through committee and board. Greg has done a tremendous amount on this one, even finding the individual. And then we will do a public listing of this property to allow anybody to do it. We think there's only one interested party, but one is all we need to get this, but we will offer it to everybody, anybody interested, neighboring properties, anybody if they want to, but we'd like to, have this sold, and then that way we have no liability on the books then.
Are,
Remember.
We have an appraisal on it as well,
Vice Chair, so-
okay, how large is the site?
but
About half an acre.
half acre, it has a
Oh,
building
okay.
on it. There's the old well house, and what's weird about it is the property's more valuable without the building on it, because the building has a deep well in it. And so it's going to be a lot of work for whoever
But
takes
we're
it.
not going to.
We are
We're
selling it
as is.
as is,
Okay, that was my question.
absolutely, we're doing nothing.
Okay.
What's the zoning on it?
The zoning it's residential, it's
R1?
residential.
Residential special use.
Yeah.
Where the water plant is special use.
Do you anticipate that a potential buyer would do an R1 development?
If they can, whatever they would like to do, they would have to go through the regular process. We are selling it, and then once we sell it, they have to go through the regular process of whatever redevelopment they would like to do. It could be that a neighbor wants to tear it down and extend a parking lot. I know there's like an office medical building right next to it. From our standpoint, I think the appraisal was probably worth 95,000 around there, so it's not much money.
Okay.
But it's, we have carrying costs on it, with security, power, electricity, just the liability of it, snow plowing, grass mowing. So it's in our best interest to.
And the zoning, it sounds like the zoning might change on it anyway,
Yeah,
depending on the
probably,
reviews.
probably.
Okay, great, that's what I needed, thanks.
And we're also right now, we maintain it, as you said, and that also includes the power and heat, so that will take those
Correct.
bills out of our hands. So it's a win-win situation in terms of that. Okay, so any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking for motion to approve FMR 00124, resolution to approve a notice of intent to participate in the coalition by Kane County, Illinois for the climate pollution reduction grant implementation application and
Second.
program. And a motion a second. Did you want to explain a little bit
Yeah.
about this? Because I'm very excited about.
So this is the federal program for providing money toward this. We're actually, Public Works, we're making sure we're in this one for some of our projects, but we're also joining a consortium with, our sanitary districts out there, which we think will have a very good, possibility in funding there because of our methane gas reduction. So we're kind of in two different groups here. Joy and Ian, an environmental group, are helping us coordinate this, but, you know, from our standpoint, we know we have projects on our capital improvement book. And if we can get any kind of grant funding or assistance from the federal, we will. We're teaming with Kane County to give us a better option. We have, originally it was gonna be more, you know, City of Chicago, other ones. Everybody else, it's kind of Kane County and DuPage have kind of risen to the top as the people who will likely move forward. I mean, whether we're successful, hopefully I can come back in a year or something and let you know we were successful.
And we're just in the
Yeah.
process, so.
Yeah.
Member Guston?
And this is only for, let's say, methane gas. This is only for air stuff, or is it for phosphorus?
It is
through
for,
wastewater?
there is a huge list of possibilities.
Okay.
The methane is what we're doing with, our sanitary districts. There's other projects that, I mean, we look at it, and figure out what scores the best, and that's how we figure out the grouping of projects, because the entire country is gonna be applying for the money. And, you know, many agencies, many municipalities, so we try to figure out what will get us to the very top of scoring.
In the sanitary districts with the phosphorus reduction that's required,
The methane gas is by far.
the higher than the
Yeah,
phosphorus. But
absolutely.
we can still do phosphorus if that.
Everybody can
there's a
still,
way to
you can
benefit
do,
from that.
absolutely, you can submit whatever you want to, it's just, we're in competition, so we're trying to position ourselves for the best possible score.
Perfect, thank you.
Sir.
Thank you. Would it give us a better opportunity if we increase the coalition to Will, Kendall? Yeah.
There's been reach outs for that,
There's 12 parties in the coalition.
yeah,
Oh,
Kane
okay.
and DuPage are making the lead,
Hollers, I think in Island Park neighborhood.
Yeah, we've got
because Wes and
DuPage.
Kane are taking the lead on this one.
DuPage, Kendall, Lake, Will, Aurora, Batavia, Elgin, Highland Park, Naperville, Waukegan, Downers Grove, Opina, and Wheeling.
And that's this one, you've got the other one with the sanitary districts, that is a separate 2 tracks.
All right. Okay, any more discussion on this? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. I'm gonna motion to receive and place on file item 24-0804 pursuant to FI O 005622 and TTR 0306C 22 3 vehicle replacement purchase orders for a fiscal year 24 from facilities management have been issued to Haggerty Ford Inc. for a total amount of $109,128.
Can I, Peter?
We need a second, so.
Second.
Okay, go ahead.
There was discussion this morning in JPS about, can we purchase these in DuPage County? Barb Reynolds and myself went down to, Bill Edson at DOT, and we did confirm when he sends out each of these, he sends, his fleet manager sends it out to a ton of different Ford dealers. You know, ours in the county, outside, we take the lowest price. That's what we do. So sometimes it'll be in the county, and I mean, we would hope, I mean, it'd be great if they're all in the county, but it's gotta be the lowest price. And we did confirm that.
Yeah, I know you and I discussed that also, so.
And I will tell you that the days of the purchasing these through co-ops is pretty much done.
Right.
Because what we get on the co-ops, you know, even if a co-op says we can do it for $500 cheaper, it'll be 12 to 18 months. And at the end of 12 to 18 months, we either get the old, sorry, we don't have the vehicles, or, oh, the prices are now $2,000 higher. So the age of the co-ops for vehicle purchases, unfortunately, I think are done.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to old business, and this is,
Did you get a vote for that one? I
do
don't
we
know.
have a vote to motion to put place on file?
I don't believe so.
No, right?
Well, you can just do it, or you can, you moved, so technically
I
I'd say
moved.
take the
I
vote.
second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we're moving on to old business. This is item 24-0832, a status and discussion of the Heritage Gallery improvements. Who would like that?
I'm gonna start it off and then I'll
Okay.
turn it over to Jeff Hansen for this.
Okay.
So very pleased to bring finally bring a draft scope in front of you. We're not looking for approval today. We're looking for input, and Jeff can kind of go through this in a second. If you recall, this has to do, we went out to bid for our RFP for getting assistance and redoing our Heritage Gallery. And we have teamed up with the Historic Museum for their exhibit as well, which is called Enduring Values. And so we have selected Taylor Studios. We have a draft scope to help us with that, to come up with, we don't even know right now what we need. And the scope will help us figure out what that exhibit will be, give us a price, and then this committee then will have to figure out, are we moving forward at that point or not? If you recall, the board reserved the money for this out of ARPA interest. We are not using that full amount, so everybody's aware of that. We have our portion, and then the Wheaton Park District will be paying their portion for this. It's kind of a weird agreement. It's a three-party agreement. It's two governmental entities overseeing one contractor, but because they are providing so much assistance to us, which our exhibit, it made sense. So Jeff, if you want to kind of go through the scope of this.
Sure, yeah, like Nick said, we have been working a lot with the museum staff, and ultimately their piece will be coordinated, parallel tracked with ours in the design process. We're hoping not to have overlapping things, but maybe things that bounce off each other in both locations. Want me to walk through the scope real quick, or if you have questions off the bat, I can.
And our goal at the end would be, you guys have this draft scope. We can give it to everybody via email as well. If you would like, if you have any suggestions, let us know, and then we will bring it back at a future date with that. We're very comfortable with our scope. We think we've incorporated all that everybody has talked about or asked about on that one. And we think we have a good value. I don't know if we want to go through, specific scope in here. I mean, it's a little bit.
Does anyone have any specific questions on this? If you've read over it?
Yeah,
Member
so,
Sir?
Yeah, I mean, I looked it over, my question is the first step, and maybe I missed it here.
Sure.
That I think we talked to you about, Jeff, is de-assessing, not a museum expert, de-assessing, decommissioning, whatever the
existing
current
objects.
exhibit.
Correct.
And because we need a professional to do that because they know how to store or value, or, it needs to be an expert on that. Is that in the scope?
That's not part of the scope. We would, like Nick said, we're gonna have an MOU with the museum to utilize their staff. So I would hope that museum staff would help us determine the best step to keep all those objects safe and protected as we move forward. We found we don't have a lot of background on those items. So we're not sure if they were lent to us or if the county technically owns them.
And that's what that expert can tell us. They
Right.
do a history exam, because I know the opera singer is still alive. He lives in Florida, and he loaned it to us apparently, and he would like it back. But then we need background research
Sure.
to make sure he really was the original owner and not just some guy in Florida saying, I want my stuff.
Well, and what we are gonna do,
Yeah, I guess so.
the two are parallel tracks, because we are absolutely required to have those items safekeeping. So we will store them safely, and then over time, we will figure out how to, maybe send them to the rightful owner, what the agreement was, what we have. That could take a while, but it will not hold up what we're doing here.
Good. And that expert can also tell us how to store these things. You can't just wrap
Absolutely.
it up, moving, stuff and put it in
And
the basement.
that's the wonderful of having Michelle Pakova over at the Historic Museum.
Mhm.
She's gonna be part of this, and she will help us figure out how to store each artifact.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure. Did you have a question, Member Jacqueline? or
No, I'm fine.
Okay, can we get this sent to, sorry, member.
Quick question, just future.
Sure.
What, is there gonna be any maintenance cost on this gallery in the future? And have we kind of projected what maybe that would look like?
So they will every step of the way give us a budget, which will get dialed in more and more as we proceed, but we could definitely ask them for, maintenance issues. Right now, it's mostly dusting down there. If we go more technological direction, we may have to account for computer updates, TVs breaking after 15 years, that sort of thing. We do have this contract built, so we're gonna go through concept design initially. And we'll bring it back to this committee. We'll have an alternate to do detailed development, which takes you right up to bidding. But that's only an option at this point. So if we don't like the direction it's going, if the budget's looking a little out of whack, we could stop development at that point, or if you give us direction to proceed, we would continue with finer detailed development. At the end of that process, we would have to hire somebody to put together bid documents for this. If we still want to move forward and actually construct this, we would put it on the streets. That would be a separate contract. And then if we have a low bid, you would come back to committee again with that low bid number. You would again have to approve all those construction documents and the low bidder. And then we would move into actually demoing and reconstructing that space.
Multiple steps left. I mean, you
And
guys,
there may be a perfect example to go visit, the Naperville, Naper settlement is actually, has just spent a lot of money on an electronic interactive kind of gallery type thing where people can interact with it. So it may be worth taking 5 minutes and taking a look at that.
that's the nice thing about Taylor Studios, because they specialize in the museum artifact exhibits around the country. And so we have that expertise to help us, but we will definitely, I mean, that's what this whole contract will be about, is coming up with concept plans. We have no idea what will go down there, how it's gonna be constructed, how much it'll be. This gives us concepts, gives you concepts for consideration, whether you wanna move forward to the next phase of the project.
And we know there's been a lot of public interest in this too, outside of the committee. So we did ask Taylor Studios the best place to incorporate that sort of feedback. So at the end of schematic design, when they have some initial ideas and we kind of have a feel for the space, how much information we can fit down there, we will have a public survey put together. We'll have a day of focus groups, both for the museum space and the Heritage Gallery space. We work with county communications to make sure that's, known to the public, and then Taylor would come up that day, run these focus groups for us, walk us through the amount of content we can have, and then we would hope for the people attending to give us some feedback on more specific storylines, comments on layouts, that sort of thing.
And we are, by combining us and the Historic Museum and the two exhibits with one contractor, we are both saving money by doing this, by having one.
Speaking of money, are we thinking about using the existing cabinetry or buying new? Because my group, like a year and a half ago, priced new cabinetry for like over $100,000.
That'll be part of the design.
Yeah, they will be up here, once we have the contract and bring it through and approve it. First, we send them kind of the list of all our artifacts, including the 40,000 museum artifacts we have available. We'll send them the existing plan for down there, then they'll come up, do actual verification, measurements, that sort of thing. And then they're gonna assess, how easy it is to reuse those. Hopefully they can just rebuild some cases, hang some TVs, that sort of thing. But yeah, we're looking to reuse as much as possible.
That would be fantastic, however.
It may work, it
Looks
may
very
not.
70s.
Yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
and that's part of the process. We'll see exactly what we have.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we're definitely, this is just the beginning, and can I ask Jeff that you send it to member Childress? I know he's on the.
Yeah, I'll double check.
He did receive it.
You did receive it, okay, oh, members A, sorry.
Yeah.
You're way down there, I can't see.
Yeah, no, I just hate to be the buzzkill. I think I'm gonna again be against this. I think this is a total waste of money and time. We should get out of the museum business. We're a public building, but everything we say being a public building, we're not. We have security to get in. We have bulletproof glass in all the countywides. We have bulletproof glass up here. Why don't we give all this stuff to a museum where people will go? I mean, I don't know how many people are gonna come to the DuPage County government complex to see a small exhibit. Why don't we give all this stuff to the museum, open that space up? We have our employees, half the time we all see them sitting in front of the auditorium in furniture that's 40 years old. Wouldn't that be a great place for our employees to sit in that atrium there? Put some tables, put some other stuff there. You could even put a TV up there and have whatever running up there, a spot for them to sit and eat their lunches, do whatever. The cafeteria is nice, but it would give them another option to sit there and open it up for the public. Man, this is a lot of money. I mean, $100,000 for cabinetry. I mean, this is ARPA money. I mean, when we're talking about other priorities, I see this very low on the list of priorities. I mean, we could do so much more with this money. I mean, at this point. And again, it's been nice, but again, we're gonna do the same thing where this place sat there for 40 years. You're gonna have TVs, all this stuff's gonna be updated. It's gonna be future costs. I'm sure it's not gonna be a ton, but this doesn't sound like a small ask. when we're talking about initial contracts and then building this and whatever. I mean, are we gonna spend $500,000 on this, $250,000 on this? I mean, that's a lot of money for
I
a
think
very
it's-
small space that, again, we're not in the museum business. Why don't we let the museum business go to the museum people and donate that stuff that we can back to them and help them in their process? That's my 2 cents. Sorry.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense, members A. The other thing I wanted to say is that we talked about before on the floor, before we made the allocation of the ARPA interest of maybe using this area and have high school students or college students submit their artwork and line the hallways with the artwork from the students, that might serve as a really nice addition to the area. So that is something we can do if the community decided to not have this museum.
Member Sir?
Thank you. As long as we're talking, Jeff, about exhibits here in the building, I've already mentioned this a couple of times that the big murals on this side and the other side are not Potawatomi, and Potawatomi were the only Indian nation, Native American nation in Illinois.
Right.
So have we talked about removing those?
So
I can handle that. Okay. We've, for many, many years, we've looked at it. The cost is very, very, very expensive because they are glued onto the wall. And so they are artwork, and so we can't destroy them. And so we would have to take the drywall down behind them and ship it somewhere. I mean, we've seen prices well over $100,000 to remove them.
I didn't know
And
that.
so we're all in on the artwork. We've got two options. You're gonna see some signage there detailing it. Another option we have is we could build a frame around it and cover them up, which we've looked at too, but the idea of taking them down, we have examined it. We've talked to museums. They're actually, that group of Native Americans is out west.
Right,
And we've talked to museums out west,
okay.
and there's not really a want for anything. And so, and we don't want to destroy the artwork, and so we're kind of, and how they put it up 35, 40 years ago, however, they just simply took the picture and glued it to the wall, and so there's no really removing it.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Member Lassie?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to echo or agree with members A on this one. I just feel like even though it is ARPA interest, I don't want to be. We just have so many priorities in the county right now. Food insecurity is always rising to the top, and I just don't know that this is the best use of this amount of money. And I do also echo what members A said that, you know, we're not museum experts, so maybe let them handle this. So thank you for that comment.
Maybe like a multi-purpose space there. I didn't even think about that.
And that's that's what we're looking for, is
Right.
what the will of the committee and the board are, because the direction that we were given before is to move forward on this. And that is the scope that you see in front of you. So if we move forward on that Heritage Gallery, this is the scope that we need. If we don't move forward, we can easily say no, but that's the direction we're looking for.
And I think it's gonna be the beginning of discussions on this. So there's a lot more discussions to come on this. So
So,
everybody's voice is.
So where do we go as a committee now? I
Well,
mean, do we need to
yeah,
give you
this-
some?
it's
feedback?
informational. There's no vote today.
Okay.
Our next step would be, we will send this scope out digitally to everybody one more time. We will bring this forward for your consideration at a future meeting with any changes you want. And then this committee needs to either vote it up or vote it down to give us direction as staff to move forward or not move forward.
As long as we don't invest any funds in it right now.
There's nothing,
Nothing's being done.
you as a committee have to vote this contract to invest anything. I mean, nothing is happening till you vote on it, but we need to either stop the project with that vote or move it forward one way or another. So that's where we'll figure out. So we will bring it forward, and then you as a committee can vote it and give us direction.
Okay. Any other discussion on this? Okay. Any new business to discuss?
I had.
Sorry. Vice Chair Oldham, what's the old
Thank you.
business?
I wanted to thank Mr. Zay for bringing up
the idea of converting our board offices to more of a meeting space last meeting. When I was Chair of Public Works, I also want to thank Member Renahan, former Member Renahan, who had brought this idea to me in the first place, and staff worked up a great plan. We were castigated for redecorating our offices, and I think that what we're actually, and we said it at the time, was to utilize the space in the best way we can. And, you know, when we're talking about the Heritage Gallery that's 40 years old, so much of what we do, we have to plan for the next 40 years because the money just isn't going to be there to redo things. So I think using our space the wisest way possible is really important. So I hope we can get moving on this, let the dust settle from the other work that's being done up here, but it's a great idea. And it was a great idea a couple of years ago, but it was.
We're not even letting the dust settle. So
Okay, even
after
better.
the
Better
last,
idea since I brought it up.
after that,
Indeed.
we have the design. We finished it before. We've already met. Tim and Jeff and I we're making some modifications on it. So we are moving forward, and then we will have a price point. And so, you know, obviously we have to get new quotes on it and figure out where we're at, but
Is this just for the,
so
Rooms
what,
over
basically, those offices back there, no.
No.
Those offices back there,
That's what I wanna
we
get.
are, think of it, because there's
Yeah.
those little individual offices, we are gonna convert it to larger conference rooms that can not only be used by you, you know, when
Right.
board members are
And
here,
staff.
but staff will be able to have breakout rooms, which are so important. So they're gonna be dual purpose.
Yeah, the plan called for one office and then there were going to be
Yeah.
two open spaces. So those would be more flexible and have a countertop, printer,
Yeah.
coffee, maybe.
Pool table.
Coffee. What's that?
Pool table.
Ping pong.
A
beer
pool
pong?
table, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Video
gonna vote
game
against
Will they still
that.
be behind?
What's that?
So it was, I'm looking forward to it. And I think I've been in those offices 4 times in 5 years. So they're really, I think it's.
Oh, it's you.
What's that? It was me?
That's your call. If you want key card access, we continue that. I would say, yes, we would probably still have key card
I think we
access.
should.
That would be our plan unless if we're told differently.
I think it should be.
Yeah, I think
I
we
put a-
definitely need.
My only suggestion would maybe glass doors, so you
I'll
can
go
see
with
back
that,
there.
I'll go too.
If that's, you know, it's kind of got the wooden door now, or maybe even just a half door with a window or something. That would
And
be.
we're looking
I'm
at design now.
losing quorum as we
We
speak.
are.
So,
So you have to,
I'm just gonna go with,
You know,
adjourn.
any new business? No?
No.
Great, okay, I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
I gotta go make,